Are you considering a move to Southern California but feeling priced out of areas like Los Angeles, Orange County, and San Diego? Today we're going to head inland to discuss a city that blends a nice history of culture and neighborhood and family while still keeping you connected to the rest of Southern California. This is Riverside. Today we're going to cover the top reasons why people love it here, and also we're going to discuss at the end, so stick around for the end, a few of the cons or drawbacks that I see to the city and things I hear from other folks and that I read online. But before we get into all that, as a local real estate agent, I want to give you an in-depth look and up-to-date analysis at what it's like living in different parts of the Inland Empire and Southern California. And like I said, today that city is going to be Riverside, California. The good, the not so great, and possibly the bad. But first, my name is Justin King. My wife Allison and I run a small real estate team out here in Southern California in Riverside that specializes in helping folks like you move and relocate here or from here. If there's anything I can do, whether it's just a game plan or answer any questions about any neighborhood, house, loan program, etc., you can call, text, email, whenever, days, nights, evening, weekends. I'm a full-time real estate agent. That is my gig. Whether it's 2 days from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I'll still be around. I would love to help get you a game plan to get you sorted out so you know what to expect when you are ready to make that move. Now let's get into the top 5 reasons I think Riverside is a great choice for a lot of folks coming from other areas. What is up, guys? Thank you and welcome back to the channel, Living in This. You have more of a doorway. Okay, so reason number 1 is going to be housing options. One cool thing about Riverside has something for everyone. The city is over 100 years old. I think 140 years old actually. From historic craftsman homes in downtown to newer planned communities of like Orangecrest or Mission Grove, or even the ranch style properties out in the Woodcrest area. We can find pretty much anything you are looking for as far as housing style, even mobile homes or condos. As of July 2025, the average home price in Riverside is about $714,000. Definitely higher than nearby Moreno Valley, Paris, or even Beaumont, but still much more affordable than the Orange Counties, the Los Angeleses, the Coronas, and the Rancho Cucamongas of the world. That really does make Riverside a sweet spot for folks looking for more options, but for one reason or another, they don't want to pay that coastal area price tag on homes. Also, according to niche.com, 2 of the top 3 neighborhoods in the state of California right here in Riverside, in Orangecrest and Mission Grove, which really are known for their family friendliness, their amenities, and honestly, their school districts are really, really freaking good. Part of what makes Riverside so unique is going to be its size and its history. Founded in 1870, it's about 81 square miles. So that's a lot of time for growth, change, etc. So in a few of the areas that really Riverside is known for is going to be the wood streets, which have the whole tree-lined street thing, the older homes. Most of them were built like in the 50s and the 60s. Downtown Riverside, it has more of a historic vibe. You got a lot of the craftsmen, a lot of the Victorian style homes out there. Orangecrest, super family friendly area. They got a big baseball park there. They got a big community center, a couple churches. A lot of people I see move there because they hear really good things about it coming from out of the area. Also their school district, like I mentioned before, is incredible. And then there's also La Sierra, which is quite a bit closer to Corona. It has a lot more affordable options, but a lot of those houses over there are a little bit smaller. And then you've also got Woodcrest, which has really big houses on really big lots. I've also even been inside a house that was a legitimate log cabin. Then you got Hayward and Hills, which is a little more upscale, a little more unique. You have a lot of those, I think they call them executive style housing, some kind of mansion-y looking houses. I know there's one over there that looks a lot like a castle. I'm not saying it is a castle, but it looks kind of like a castle. All right, so reason number 2 for moving to Riverside, California is going to be the history and the culture. One of the crown jewels of the area is going to be the Mission Inn Resort and Spa, which is a recognized National Historic Landmark, and it has been in operation since the 1800s. If you've never heard of it, you've never seen it, look up some videos or come out during Christmas. They're very well known for their Festival of Lights, where that whole area turns into a huge Christmas spectacle. Mission and is kind of the crown jewel of that, so to speak. Downtown Riverside is also home to the Fox Theater, which has been restored a few times, and I didn't know this until making this video, but it was actually the home of the very first screening of Gone with the Wind. And also in downtown is the Riverside Art Museum. They do a lot of different activities there. I've seen a few concerts there, which is actually pretty cool. And then they also have the Dickens Festival. And another neat little history tidbit on Riverside is considered the birthplace of the citrus industry. Back in the 70s, the 1870s that is, a couple navel trees were planted here, and it just really sparked that citrus empire. Really sparked that whole citrus empire that really just kind of took off throughout Southern California. And throughout the city, you'll see orange groves lining a lot of streets, a lot of empty fields. There'll just be orange groves everywhere. Glass Ranch is a big one over off of Van Buren. It backs up to a lot of houses, and now there's a lot of warehouses going in there, and also part of the base. And one of the reasons for that, Southern California has a pretty sunny, warm climate. We have sunshine, I think it's like 300 days throughout the year, which really cultivates a prime growing situation for citrus trees. All right, so reason number 3 is gonna be location and commute. Riverside is actually located very central in the Inland Empire. A big question I get a lot is, what are commute times actually like? So Riverside sits right on the 91, the 60, and those go east to west. And also the 215, which goes north and south, and that's gonna be on the east side of the city, which sounds like you're gonna have a lot of traffic no matter what, but really what it means is you got a lot of options. So when you're looking at commuting from Riverside to LA, you're gonna be right around an hour. If you're leaving kind of those peak traffic hours, probably closer to about an hour and a half. Irvine, which I know a lot of people commute to and from, you're gonna be about 40 minutes with no traffic. During rush hour, I'd say dedicate about an hour to an hour and a half for that drive. And San Diego is about an hour and a half when traffic's light, probably closer to about 2 hours during those rush hour traffic times. And San Bernardino is actually really close. You're probably about 20 to 25 minutes, no traffic. With traffic, you're probably closer to about 45 minutes. All right, and Temecula is another one. You're about 45 minutes away from Temecula. With traffic, it could be up to about an hour and a half. So now with Riverside itself, like I said before, it's about 81 square miles, which is massive for a city. End to end, going end to end in Riverside, coast to coast. In Riverside, you're gonna go about 25 minutes roughly. With traffic, it could take as long as about 45 minutes. And another cool little kind of commute hack is there's a Metro link in Riverside over off of La Sierra. So if you need to head into LA, you can take that. You avoid a lot of that freeway traffic. So yes, Riverside does put you really close to a lot of other amenities like the beaches, the mountains, etc. Just be conscientious of when you're leaving or when you're heading back. You could save yourself a lot of time, frustration, headache, etc. All right, so reason number 4, Riverside might be a good fit for yourself or your family, is education and jobs. All right, one major highlight for the city is going to be Riverside Unified School District. They also have Oliver II. Both school districts consistently rank high as far as teacher satisfaction, sports, or athletics, and their AP programs. One of the standout schools in Riverside is going to be the Riverside STEAM Academy, which is a lottery admission school that's ranked among the 25 highest schools in California. And one thing they're known for is their small class sizes, as well as a focus on one-on-one teaching. Another school that gets constant recognition is going to be Poly High, which is known for a strong sense of community and supportive teachers. And when you look around the greater Riverside County, the other top 2 out of the top 3 school districts are going to be Marietta Unified School District and Temecula Valley School District. And both of those consistently year over year outperform a lot of the other districts in the area. Now, another big draw I see to Riverside is going to be the secondary education, meaning like the colleges and the trade schools. A lot of folks I have coming out looking more like at the condos in Riverside or smaller housing are going to be people looking with kids going to either UCR, Cal Baptist, La Sierra, or even RCC. So to break those down a little bit, UCR is going to be University of California, Riverside. They have a very strong engineering program from what I understand. Cal Baptist is going to be more of a faith-based colleges. And from what I hear, Cal Baptist actually has a pretty good, I think their basketball and their baseball teams are D1. La Sierra, I believe that's also a private university. It's a smaller college. It's a little pricier, but you get a really good education there. RCC isn't far from downtown at all. That's Riverside Community College. I see a lot of, there's a lot of condos in that area, a lot of smaller, older housing, a lot of duplexes, triplexes that pop up in that area. I see a lot of people purchase for their kids in that area, rent out to their kids, and start building their real estate portfolio from there. And then there are also a handful of smaller vocational style schools like UMass Global Network, National University. There used to be a DeVry, but I think that one closed. And some of those niche and accelerated type programs. So I guess what you could say the big takeaway from that is education really isn't an afterthought here. It's more of a priority. You have solid schooling from K to 12, and then you have really good secondary options. You know, you got a private college, a faith-based college, community college, a UC, and if you're looking for more of a Cal State, Fullerton is probably about 30 minutes from here, CSUF, and then CSUSB, Cal State San Bernardino, is about 40 minutes away. All right, so reason number 5 to consider Riverside when looking to make that move is going to be community and lifestyle. So one of the cool things about Riverside, or you know, you give credit to this in most areas of the Inland Empire, is you got a lot of options for outdoor recreation. So if you're more of an outdoorsy type person, you definitely have options. One of the most popular attractions is going to be Mount Rubidoux Trail, which is located kind of right outside of downtown Riverside. And it's not really that tough. It's a pretty family-friendly walk. I know people that pretty much that's their workout in the morning is they go there. I think it's about a 2.5 mile loop. And when you get to the top, you have a pretty spectacular 360 view of the whole city. And it's also a popular place to go on 4th of July to watch the fireworks. And there's also the California State Citrus Historic Park, which is right off of Victoria and Van Buren. And it's known as a living tribute to Riverside's role as the birthplace of the citrus groves and citrus industry in Southern California. It's a pretty cool little area because you could actually walk through all the citrus groves. They have like little seasonal tasters that they give you here and there. There's also gonna be Fairmont Park, which butts up right to Mount Rubidoux Trail. And from what I understand, Fairmont Park was designed by the same firm that did Central Park in New York. I didn't fact check that, but it is pretty spectacular. It's huge. They got a lake there. They got a clubhouse. There's actually a golf course, a driving range, also tennis courts, and plenty of picnic areas. And then there's also going to be Sycamore Canyon, which you have a lot of hiking, a lot of mountain bike trails out there. And that's kind of right in the middle of the city. There's train tracks that run through there. It's actually a pretty cool little place to go cruise around. And then there's also Andolco Sports Complex, which has baseball fields. It's got a large track around it for walking, running, jogging, whatever. There's tennis courts, baseball diamonds, and a couple different playgrounds there. And that's right behind the Canyon Crest area. And then another big park is gonna be Orangecrest Terrace Park, which is located in Orangecrest. That's a big sports complex. They do a lot of community events and they do like movies in the night there, live bands there, a couple different playgrounds there for the kids. And it also has a big rec center there. And another cool thing about Riverside that I don't see mentioned a lot is how many farmers markets are going. They have them at the mall, they have them at the downtown area, Van Buren Drive-In, I've seen them there before, which is kind of cool. You get a lot of local vendors selling different types of fresh produce, honey, bread, what have you. It's actually pretty cool. So we went over the 5 pros. I said at the end we would go over a few possible cons or deterrents or different things to consider. One of the ones I see a lot online, I don't really see it in person anymore as much as when I was like a little kid, is the air quality. The way the Inland Empire is designed, geographically, not by a human being, is we're kind of surrounded by mountains. We're inland, but we're surrounded by mountains. So a lot of the smog that blows through LA, Orange County, those coastal areas, they get kind of trapped. One interesting thing I've noticed is when you're driving through, let's say the 60 or the 10 going out to like Palm Springs, once you get past the mountain regions, the air just opens up and gets a lot cleaner. So, summer gets kind of hot, gets a little smoggy, that still air just kind of sits over the valley. It can be hard on a lot of people's lungs. So if you're sensitive to air quality, that's something I would consider, or you have maybe an asthma, I would spend some time out here before ultimately making that move. I don't hear people complain about it that much, but it is something that I know comes up when I'm researching these videos or doing some research on certain areas. Okay, so possible con number 2 or deterrent number 2 would be the older infrastructure. Like I said, Riverside was founded in 1870. So the downtown area, you'll see where the streets are a little bit older. They weren't really built with the intention of heavy traffic, motor cars, etc. Now it does give off a lot of charm, but there are certain issues, that I'm sure if you're coming from LA, you've seen there too. And with having sold quite a bit in downtown Riverside, some of those older Victorian or Craftsman style homes, they have infrastructure in the houses that are, over 100 years old. So it's kind of cool to see how that ages or doesn't age well. A lot of those houses have been restored several times over, since their inception. But it is another thing to consider. So if you don't like that kind of older style, I would look in the newer areas of Riverside. So, and a third one, I don't think this is gonna be a big deal for most folks, but it'd be cost of living in Riverside versus other Inland Empire areas. So Riverside, obviously we've discussed at length how it's more affordable than Orange County and LA. It is on the pricier side of the Inland Empire, so areas like the Beaumonts, Menifee, San Bernardino, Moreno Valley, Paris. Riverside's quite a bit more expensive than those areas. Just another thing to consider. So now what I tell a lot of my buyers or potential buyers when they're looking out this way, or just people who talk to me about the area, I would say, if you're not from here and you're considering a move here, I would check out the different areas, come by at different times of the day, different times of the week, different times of the year. If you have that kind of flexibility and time, drive the different areas, take a look at what you like, the neighborhoods to explore, the wood streets, a little bit older, Orangecrest, that is one of the most family-friendly areas possible. What Orangecrest reminds me of is like what Beaumont's been building. Orangecrest did it in the mid-90s. And then Woodcrest. And if you want to see some cool, unique homes, Haverton Hills. And if you are trying to get a feel for what there is to do in the city, definitely check out the mall is over off La Sierra, the downtown area, the Mission Inn area. That's where a lot of the best food is going to be at. And then there also is the Riverside Plaza. There's a lot of really cool, older looking buildings around there. Definitely something to check out. Okay, so that brings us to the end. To summarize what we went over in this video, 5 of the reasons I think Riverside might be worth looking into for yourself and your family. You're gonna have a lot of housing options. It's got a pretty rich history and a lot of culture. Location and commute, education and jobs, and community and lifestyle. We did cover a few cons: cost of living versus IE, air quality could be an issue for some folks, and older infrastructure could possibly be an issue. Now, so if you are considering a move to one of Riverside's incredible neighborhoods, or anywhere in the Inland Empire for that matter, I'd love to help with any questions you may have. Whether you need help exploring a neighborhood, narrowing down home options, looking at different school districts, feel free to reach out anytime. You can call, text, email, days, evening, nights, weekends. Like I said in the beginning, my number is right below. I'm here to serve and support you on the highest possible level. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, what have you. Any ideas you want to see or any questions you may have, throw it in the comments. I'd love to make a video about it. It just gives me more content to make and throw out there for you guys. So now if you made it all the way to the end, thank you for watching. That wraps up today's video, and I will catch you on the next one.